This is very metal, Brendan Conway. I hope you're playing this out of a Mesa Boogie on Triple Rectify.
Holy fuck, this is Bulletproof Ben McCoy, and I have no idea how I got here, but you are listening to It's a Work
podcast.
Fucking WNBA fan.
Fans, you've got Ian Matthews here and my co-host Tristin Hayes. It's a Work podcast, episode number 1. Tristin, we've got a couple great segments here, including a interview that we did with the Blacklist after your last show. We want to get to that, but first,
have
a conversation.
Let's tell people what the hell happened, dude. We had 20 minutes of amazing audio that we lost because of a computer malfunction. Not human error, computer malfunction. And the amazing part is, I'm like the kid from Talladega Nights. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. Skynet became self-aware. Now it's 12:15 in the morning. We have to redo this. Let's have some fucking fun.
Yeah, I agree. That was a real disappointment, man. I think there was some human error on my part.
That was a goddamn Greek tragedy is what it was.
That's all right. This is better. So episode number 1. We want to open it up. We're going to just chat.
Well, before we really get this machine rolling, why don't we take a minute to explain to everybody how we came to the conclusion that doing this podcast together would be a good idea.
You know, I think it really all started with the fact that I am watching wrestling again. I mean, to be honest, it took a number of years where I just wasn't paying any attention to the product and been coming over for the pay-per-views, been really enjoying watching you wrestle, going to, the Pro Blitz shows and really supporting, what you're doing with the Blacklist. And through that, we've had a couple good conversations. You figure, why not buy some cheap microphones and see if we can put some content out there?
But it really kind of goes even further back than that, doesn't it, man? Because we've known each other since we were about 14 years old, and we go far back, and if we want to put a date on it, as back when Triple H was still a Greenwich, Connecticut snob, and the wild man, Mark Marrow, was still running wild with the Intercontinental title.
No, I think you have the insider's view, and I have, an outsider's perspective. Hopefully we can offer a different take to the audience. And like I said, just have some fun.
Well, then let's get on the ball and see if we can actually build a fan base. So let's go to Tony Scarpone with the Pro Wrestling Blitz update. Intro!
Hey, you're listening to It's a Work podcast. And this is Tony Scarpone. And this is the Blitz update.
And this is.
Fuck you! Paulie Tomaselli could fucking eat a dick right now.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to It's a Work podcast. I'm Tony Scarpone, and this is the Blitz update.
So, dude, this is like my favorite time of the year when it comes to Pro Wrestling Blitz, because in the summertime we do so much cool shit, man. We do a handful of shows at the Windy City Thunderbolts game, and almost every show, weather permitting, is a ton of fun. There's dollar beers. We always got a name there, signing autographs. We do a handful of Six Flags shows later in the year. We do some concerts and some other stuff. It's great, man. So June 15th, we've got Mean Gene Okerlund. June 29th, we've got Booker T. August 3rd, Al Snow. August 17th, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and August 24th is our indie showcase. And these are always right after the Windy City Thunderbolts baseball game at Standard Bank Stadium in Crestwood. So look it up. Come check us out. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's dollar beers, so you could watch a baseball game and then watch an hour of wrestling while you sober up.
No, it was a lot of fun. I was at the last show. Cody Rhodes and Abyss were the main event, and it was a really good match. You guys had a great match with the Dad Bods, and then Ryan Cross was in that match too, right?
Ryan Cross. Don't tell him he skipped leg day. He'll get pissed.
This is Ryan Cross, and I hate people like Tristin Hayes with no bodies.
Yeah, he will definitely get angry. But no, it was awesome, dude. I got to hang out backstage with you guys. You guys had a little suite going on. Cody Rhodes was fantastic.
Yeah, how fucking cool was he, man? Like, they always tell you you shouldn't meet guys like that because they might disappoint you. Totally not one of those guys.
Totally awesome. He was even nice enough to cut an intro for the show that, we're going to use from time to time. So, really appreciated it.
He did some really cool ones, and then he did that one that we all love where he was like, I fucking hate this podcast.
No, that's awesome. And he does fucking hate our podcast, so We're definitely gonna
Even
use
though he's
that.
never heard it.
And yeah, we're looking forward to more shows. I'm going to go to all those, man. It's going to be
My
awesome.
goal for the next one is to get Mean Gene Okerlund's 80-year-old ass completely drunk and then start asking him questions.
Put a microphone in front of him, right?
Of course, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, no, that's a recent update with the stadium shows, the baseball shows. But you got WrestleFest coming up, man. What's the news and gossip
August
there?
12th at the Edwards Recreation Center, man. We're going to pack the friggin' house. It's going to be awesome. We'll talk about what I'm going to do on the show later on. But, man, we've got some pretty cool shit, dude. Mil Muertes is coming back. I know that's your boy from Lucha Underground that you dig.
It was cool to see him in, at Locked and Loaded last Saturday. It was really, I mean, you guys are bringing on a lot of stars. I mean, I don't want to take your thunder, but I know you got some more Lucha Underground names that you're gonna mention.
There's actually, we're bringing in a lot of Lucha Underground, and you know what? WrestleFest in past years has kind of been like a parade of, I don't want to say has been or guys that are over the hill, but it's the wrestlers that you used to love, but most of them are their in-ring time is done now. This year, WrestleFest, man, it's a lot of guys that can still go and a lot of guys that are just, kind of recently coming to their own and getting big with Lucha Underground and a couple other places.
So what names do you have? Do you got anything you can share with us? I know you guys are working on some big stars, lining them up, and I know we're going to continue to feed the people here as names get signed, but you got any updates there?
As we've already mentioned, we've got Mil Muertes coming back. I hope I say that right, because I don't know, man. Like, I've only...
I think I'm saying that. Mil Muertes.
I've only seen one episode of Lucha Underground so far. I'm a bad wrestling fan. I need to catch up.
Well, you've been watching a lot of The League, which is appropriate, man. I love that show.
I know. Well, listen, I'm going to use that to segue into something else in a minute, but we've also got for WrestleFest, we've got Gail Kim. We've got Marty the Moth coming back. But one of the matches that I'm most looking forward to is the Pro Wrestling Blitz champion Shogun Chris Logan is taking on the No Limits champion Aaron Williams, or as I like to call him, Aaron Williams. And it's a title for title match. So somebody's walking out with 2 belts that night.
That's cool. I've been enjoying Chris Logan and his title run. He's been doing good work. I'd be excited to get him on the show. So
I don't really think that would be that hard to do, because I think the Shogun of Southside Strong Style. God, I love saying that because it sounds so cool. But it makes me want to watch Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. So check this out, dude. Like we said before, you kind of got me hooked on The League. And I'm going through withdrawal right now, trying to find something else that I can really latch onto on Netflix. But while I was watching The League, I started thinking, and I was like, man, I wonder if they have fantasy wrestling leagues. So I looked it up, and I found one that I really like. It's called dropthebelt.com. I got to join for free and be a part of a 6-team, 6-person league. So what it is there's 6 different teams, and you pick 6 people off the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT rosters. They got a million different things that you can get points off of, but it's really cool because this is 2 weeks in, and I'm at 165 points. I'm in first place, 20 points ahead of the second place person in the league right now, and it goes till SummerSlam.
No, that's awesome. I was really excited when you showed it to me, and I didn't pull the trigger, and the leagues were starting, so I was like, I wanted to get into your league, and I couldn't necessarily, and so I was like, well, I'm going to wait, but I am definitely living vicariously right now through your fantasy wrestling team. So, and you said I think you're in first place right now.
Yeah, I've got an awesome freaking team. I've got Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Shinsuke Nakamura, The Miz, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. And the thing is, I had Rusev, but since he hasn't been back on TV yet, I had to trade him, and I just picked up The Miz, which gave me an extra 13 points for this week. Because The Miz is fucking white hot right now in everything that he does.
Dude, The Miz is doing amazing work right now. Let's talk about Rusev real
Mr.
quick.
Handsome Rusev.
What do you think about the Bulgarian Brood? I mean, we were talking before about all the rumors that were, floating around Jinder Mahal's, championship title win, in Chicago against Randy Orton. Was the WWE going to fly him in? Like, what do you think about all that?
They were talking about flying him in. They might have actually gotten him a flight, and he might have been there that night. I don't know. I just know that they were back and forth all day long up until about 2 hours before the show went on, deciding whether or not they were actually going to put the title on Jinder.
Yeah, man, it's it's interesting. I think Jinder and him, that would be a good program, and Rusev could definitely take the title off of Jinder. It'd be really great to see him come back and be booked strong immediately. But at the same time, now we're hearing stuff like he's going to wrestle Shane McMahon, which is, fine. I'm kind of over Shane McMahon.
It sounds like a time killer.
Personally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds like they're just killing time so that they can get some business done with Jinder. So what do you think of Lana's new burlesque stripper gimmick?
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, what are they going to do? Like, they're obviously splitting those two up. And I don't understand, the Lana promos that we're getting. I don't get why she has to have a chair. Or
would you prefer she has a pole?
Yeah, no, I don't want her to have, like, any, type of apparatus. I thought she was supposed to just be a dancer. But she is obviously a
So no chair, no pole, no strap-on. Got it.
Yeah, nothing like that. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not really excited to see Lana in the ring at this point. I like the way they had him booked before, man. I liked him, like, he is my husband and no one else can touch me. And, I like that whole gimmick. So I'm going to be a little disappointed unless they do good things with Lana.
So I know we got the interview we want to get to, but I want to get a little bit of business done first. So before we do that, I want to play a promo for everybody that you're going to hear regularly on this podcast for the Wayne Foundation. It is it's a charity that's close to my heart that helps out and prevents the sexual trafficking and abuse of children all around the world. So take a listen to this.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you, and I'll really fuck you up.
All right, from supporting a good cause to a little bit of a bummer here, we've got our first curtain call. Let's get right into it and pay tribute to a fallen wrestler.
Folks, from time to time, one of our brothers and sisters in the business leaves the gorilla position and goes up to that big ring in the sky. And when that happens, we like to pay homage to them with a little segment we refer to as the curtain call. Well, I was hoping we weren't going to have to get to this one for a while, but looks like on our very first episode, we've already got a curtain call to talk about. We recently lost former AWA Tag Team Champion Pretty Boy Doug Summers. He passed away on May 16th of 2017 this year at the age of 65 years old. Do you remember Doug Summers?
I had to go back and do a little research, looking. I've been watching a lot of old WCW, so I don't know his work as well as I should. So definitely, sad to lose a wrestler at the age of 65. Looks like he had a pretty big impact on the AWA and, wrestled at Halloween Havoc 91, lost to Van Hammer. So good, solid career by Mr. Doug Summers.
He was an interesting looking guy too. He had like a very unique physical build, like very long limbs and a very long body, right? I think at his peak in his career was when him and Buddy Rose were the tag team champions in the AWA. They actually had Sherry Martel, Sister Sherry, Scary Sherry as I used to call her when I was a kid because the way her makeup was. But she was a brilliant mind for anybody to have in their corner. Him and Buddy Rose were the AWA Tag Team Champions, and they actually helped put the Midnight Rockers on the map with one of the best and bloodiest feuds I had ever seen in my life growing up. And if you don't know who the Midnight Rockers were, that was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty before they got to the WWF/WWE. It was a great feud, man. If you ever get a chance, go back and watch it. They were from this old arena. I think it was in like Vegas or something like that. You got to check him out. But Doug Summers was a real talented guy, a real great mind for the business. Obviously trained by Mr. Harley Race, who is a living legend, just a god among men in professional wrestling. So, Mr. Doug Summers, this is for you, sir. Your 10-bell salute. Passed away at the age of 65, unfortunately. Far too young.
All right, Tristan, now that we got the curtain call out of the way for Mr. Doug Summers,
We're going to get on to our last segment of our very first podcast. This is an interview that we conducted with the entire Blacklist after your last show, the last Pro Wrestling Blitz show that happened at St. Joe's Park. You guys had just finished
that would be Locked and Loaded.
Yeah, Locked
right?
and Loaded.
May 27th.
That's right. And you guys had just finished your match with the congregation. And we took the microphones out. I didn't talk too much. I was still a little preoccupied watching the rest of the show. It was a great show. You guys are bringing in a lot of great talent, but we wanted to get to this interview. We think it was a good talk with you and the rest of the boys from the crew.
Yeah, we got a couple of adult beverages in us and all sat down and just kind of got on a roll and talking and having some fun. So here you go with the interview with myself and the rest of the Blacklist in episode 1 of It's a Work.
All right, you want to kick this off, or you want?
You want to come over to me?
Yeah, dude.
Nah, I got work to do.
Hey.
I was just coming to make sure you all are still alive.
We're all still alive.
Oh yeah.
It smells like asshole in here, by the way.
It's
you know what?
loaded
We
with
like
4
the
assholes.
exact way that it smells.
Sure you do.
Hey, Crystal. Ever tell you look really fucking hot in that dress? And I got like half a chub right now just looking at you.
That thing is recording.
My wife gives me boners.
It's the best part about it, too. How do you feel right now, dude? Seriously.
Like shit. If I feel like if you were inside of Satan's asshole and then like tried to work your way out and then realized you went in instead of out. And then you're like, I gotta turn around. It's so long.
We're on like the home stretch before WrestleFest, you know? And this is the last time we get to come to St. Joe's Park.
St. Joe's, yeah.
That's fucking weirder for you guys. Well, probably weirdest for you the most, right?
Yeah. I think I might have been to St. Joe's the most.
Yeah. Out of the 3 of us, I would think that you have.
Well, how long has Blitz been here? Like, it's been a while.
They've been here like what, 7-8 years?
Wow.
Well,
that's
no,
crazy.
not all of their run. I would say maybe like 5 years.
The new venue does sound good though. That Forge, it sounds like a place that's going to be really, really nice.
I feel like you guys are due for an upgrade. It sounds
Forge
like
kind of sounds like a gay bar though.
Sign me up.
Are we good this far?
I'm
away?
in.
Like,
You are in for everything, and that's what I love most about you.
and we can raise it up. We're good.
You should be all in, Brendan Conway,
That's an idea.
because you're all in all the
all
time.
in all high risk
Balls
moves.
deep,
All the
Tristan
time.
Hayes.
Balls deep.
Which I'm Irish, so that's not really that deep. So.
No, it's like when
Holy shit! They found Bobby Valentino.
I know,
he's
right?
alive.
Only 2 hours.
We were
He's
gonna put you on
alive
like
and
red
well.
cartons.
Lost in Juliet, man.
Hey, Juliet. First off, Juliet's a girl, not a town.
Yeah.
Second, it's
He got
Joliet.
lost
if
in
that's what you're
Juliet,
looking for.
Illinois.
Okay, my bad.
And third, I expected that you left and spent the remainder of your money on a
From
hooker.
going balls deep, right?
Going balls deep, of course.
Name's Juliet. There you go, dude.
So we're here, we're live, we're at Blitz. Well, it's not gonna be live when it plays, but whatever, who gives a shit? But we're in our own, what has been our own personal locker room.
That's the only thing that worries me about the new place is not having a private room.
Right? Because I'm like, we've grown so accustomed to it. We're next to the bar.
We're so fucking
and
selfish.
they don't even they give us our cans.
It's
They don't even
amazing.
pour us
Yeah,
into
it's
shit, so-
awesome.
And I'm like, oh crap, you know. Even worse though is I like I said earlier, I'm kind of like anxious about WrestleFest because I'm like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna come in? Like, we need to come up with something.
I feel
something
like out
cool
of
for
all
them.
the matches for WrestleFest, we definitely have the most pressure.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that out of ego or anything like that. I say it because everybody else has a nice name that they can work with, and they're gonna have a great match, and they're at least gonna have a good match. And there's no other like gimmick matches or hardcore matches or like no rules matches or whatever you want to call it. And that all falls on us. And that's a big load. especially when you have 6 guys in a match. It's nuts.
And a match with a
can
gimmick,
go.
it could potentially really stink up the place.
Have you guys decided what you're going to do yet? Is it
I have some
hardcore match?
I have some ideas.
No, I think he means like, what are we doing? Like, what's the gimmick of the match?
Right.
Punch the other guy in the face as many times as I can before my hand breaks.
We do have the benefit of
Boot to the
history
gut, light
going
on
into
fire.
it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, at least so in that respect.
And then really, not anybody else is going to have that.
Yeah,
Like, Williams,
we have something like with history going into it, so
yeah, Williams
that certainly
and,
works in our favor.
Logan, they're going to have history going into it, but who else really is? You know? And we've got the Rock of Pro Wrestling Blitz, Ego, who shows up a few months before WrestleFest, works a name and then disappears.
I love that guy though.
I know, I love Ego too. I'm winking when I say it with both eyes, which is just a blink.
I was really surprised when I saw him at NXT. I remember me and Jay had went to NXT, and we had seen Scarpone, and I remember looking at him as we were parking the truck to go into the stadium. I was like, man, Tony doesn't usually come to these things. So
yes, he does.
Like
yes, he does. Because everyone I've ever been to, he's been outside will call, like trying to scam tickets from somebody.
Oh no, he walked right in and everything. And I was like, man, I wonder what he like. And right then and there, I think it was just one of those things where something clicked in my brain, like something's happening. And then sure enough, when they started filming the NXT and Ego came out, and I talked to Ego today, and I guess like originally he wasn't even supposed to have an entrance. It was supposed to be the regular job guy.
Announce the job guy.
Yeah,
in the ring.
comes in with the ref. All the lights are out. Lights come on. Announce the job guy in the ring. Call for the new guy. And I guess he said it was literally about 5 minutes before he went out. And some secondary guy walked up and goes, "So for your entrance," and he goes like, "Excuse me, what?" And then he talked to Drake, and then Drake went and cleared it with the guy, and then Drake came back, and Drake Younger with his awesome accent was like, "Brother, you good, man? You got yourself an entrance." And Ego was like, "That's awesome," and I was like, "Man, that's like." For me, I feel like that's like the grand slam of all of this is to someday. I mean, it's the childhood dream of everybody. It's not even wrestling a match on a WWE show or doing anything like that. It's literally just being able to walk through with your own music, and then there's 17,000 people.
Yeah,
right.
Just
of all
just
places,
there.
Rosemont.
Yeah.
Like at the old, and I still call it the Horizon.
Yeah.
Like it's still the Rosemont Horizon to me. They should still have the big rose painted up on the wall. Like they should have left that.
That rose is cool. I like that.
I mean, all state now. You gotta live with it. Whatever. What do they call the cell now? U.S. Cellular Stadium.
Guaranteed rate field with a fucking arrow pointing down.
Fuck. We are literally moments away from Maxi Tampon Stadium. It's gonna happen.
I will be at the first event. I'll make sure I'm there. And I'm gonna be the guy that like when the first team scores, I'm gonna have a box of tampons. I'm just gonna like open it up and just like.
I hope this is become like the hockey tradition where they're throwing the squid on the ice.
Yeah, dude. Every time
Instead of the shirts,
Every
people
time just got like they got like red Sharpies.
you can call it. You can call the team the Chicago Blood.
Oh my god! There you go.
Oh, it's bad enough I didn't want a WNBA franchise.
Dude, the Sky, their season, man, just started.
What are you doing?
Or wait, did it just start? I think. I went to a Sky game last year. It was great. It was amazing. I'm gonna go.
Really?
Yeah, kick ass. Dude, I had a great time. I like the WNBA.
Do you really?
Yeah, straight
It's like
up.
soccer. I can't get behind it. I don't know why. Like I respect the athleticism of it, but I can't.
I think
Soccer,
I think
can't fucking
WNBA
do
was
it.
one of those things where they did it and it was like I think for the first couple of years when they had like Leslie Sparks and Lisa Loeb and those guys, it was like wow, this is all right. This
Did you see Lisa Loeb?
I think
Like
not
the
Lisa
fucking
Loeb.
singer?
No, that's not the other one. The other one. What's the other girl's name?
I just
From the
picture like
Sparks.
this little short white girl, very emo, like.
Oh, maybe it was. I'm thinking of something completely different. Shamika Holzclaw was another one who was on there. I know that. Those are like the only names I know.
Yeah.
But I know Shamika Holzclaw from Tennessee was drafted to the NBA.
I know that the first girl to ever dunk in a high school basketball game is now on Chicago Sky.
Nice.
So I know that. It's a little history that I know.
Nice.
So I got a question for you, Ben.
Go.
You were talking about like it's everybody's dream to walk out in front of like your hometown crowd. You got music, and there's 17,000 people. Everybody's got different dreams. Like you're coming up on one. And you're going to Japan. Like how did that even come about?
Completely accidental. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It wasn't like some Japanese company saw me and was like, "Oh, you're awesome. Come work for us."
Come work, Gaijin. Come work.
But no, I had
Nupsu Cow.
about 2 years ago. I had met a wrestler named Shigehiro Urie, and we had done a show together in Milwaukee, and he wound up not having a place to stay after the show that we were on. So it was kind of like the little lost puppy thing. I called my wife. I'm like, "Hey, I'm bringing home a friend.
I'm bringing home a ginormous Chinese or Japanese man."
Yeah, and then he came over to our house and he stayed with us for about 3 weeks, and then he went back to Japan, and
he was only booked to be here a week.
And then he came back again another time in the winter, and then he stayed with us for a couple weeks again there. And me and my wife, it started off as a vacation. We were talked about. We never had a honeymoon when we got married, and I wanted to give her a honeymoon this year because we were going on our 8th year of marriage. And it was down to like France and Tokyo, and then I think like the terrorist attacks happened in France, and I looked at my wife as like, no. And then she's like, I'm fine. I like Tokyo because she's a big Disney junkie. So they have like Disney Sea in Tokyo. It's the only place in the world that has Disney Sea.
What the heck? Wait, what is Disney Sea?
Is it the letter C or
no,
is it
like sea, like aquatic,
yes, okay.
like fish and shit.
Like they're just fucking drowning all the mascots.
Yeah, so they're all underwater with fucking those little helmet
felt hats.
Exactly.
They're all just sinking to the bottom.
So like that's there, and then so is a Disney World. So like there's 2 major Disney theme parks right next to each other. And so we wanted to go for that. Well, then when we were talking about it, I think we were talking about it over breakfast one day, and all of a sudden Shige was like, "Oh, you come to Japan?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You come? We wrestle?" And I was like, "Sure." He goes, "I talked to promoter." And I'm like, "All right, cool." No, he actually gets up from my breakfast table, gets his phone, and like calls Japan. And then it just snowballed. And then the next thing I know,
it's a long ass distance call too, just to make it casual.
Yeah, and then
I do now.
Yeah,
I do now.
The next thing I know, it's man, we leave in 10 days, and then we're there for 12, and we got 6 to 7 shows, depending on if I want to fly to Osaka or not, which I'm kind of up in the air about. But yeah, I'm wrestling for like Ryoku Dragon Pro Wrestling out of Okinawa, wrestling in Nagoya, wrestling in Tokyo. And it's going to be a fun time. I'm really excited about it. It's one of my biggest thing is just trying to do the best I can. Shige's got a really good deal there with DDT Pro Wrestling. And, it sucks because, like, the original plan was to stay until the 25th. But we had a family trip planned with my wife and my family and all the relatives and everything like that. For like, it's like an annual thing. And it happens to be on the day of the big Corrigan Hall show that they have on the 25th of June. So I miss out on that, which sucks. Danny Duggan just got booked over there too from Canada, and me and Danny have been friends for, God, I've known Danny since like 2007, and then we reconnected last year when I came back full time, and he's going right after I am. Like we're literally missing each other in Japan by 2 days. So, but yeah, he's a good dude, and I'm happy for him to get that. And as far as Japan goes, I'm just looking at doing the very best I can. I think it's one of those things where actions are going to speak louder than words, and I feel like if I hold my own, that should be able to keep the door open.
So, like, typically, Ian and I, like, we don't talk about ourselves on here except for, like, when we're goofing around or just random different shit. But I want to ask you guys about something, but I kind of have to bring up something of my own first to segue into it.
Go.
So, the whole Blacklist thing, when it started back in October of 2016 last year, when I kind of came through the crowd. You were in the locker room.
I was.
In the locker room that night?
I was in the locker room too.
You were in the locker room? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been able to really kind of get this out of anybody. So that night, and the only people that knew were myself and
no, I knew. You told me. I didn't say anything. But you told me.
There were like 3 or 4 people in the back that were kind of sworn to secrecy about it, and I went over the guardrail, and it was realistic as possible because, I mean, there were people coming at me that didn't know what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I've had people who since been like, dude, I love you, but I was going to kill you that night. You know? What was the feel in the locker room, and how did you guys end up getting involved now in the Blacklist, coming to the point where we are now?
Well, I think that after that happened, and you and me, we had talked on the phone a few times before that happened, and obviously we talked about how that would all work with Scarpone and everything. And I remember like literally it was utter chaos in the back. Like I've never seen a locker room that like it was literally like it was.
Yeah, I was told all night long the whole fucking locker room's on edge.
It was
kill you
so
because they thought
it was
they didn't know
so
better.
out of nowhere because it was just you know, I'm not saying it's good to work the boys or not good to work the boys or anything like that, but all I know is that happened. Brubaker almost killed you.
Yes.
You got lucky as fuck there.
Man.
Because Nick wanted you to die.
Well, I got even more lucky because Vic Capri, when you watch the video, was about 10 feet behind Brubaker. And I was out the door, thank God, by that. Because I dipped out the door, went off to the side, and just kind of sat there in the dark watching them, and then walked away slowly. Because if I run, they know who the fuck that is. They're coming after me. Yeah. That's not good.
No, and then like some of the guys were like, that was a work, and other guys were like, that was a shoot, and then other guys were like, what the fuck? And nobody had an answer. And then of course, everything got settled by the end of the night and everything like that.
Well, it was on and off all night long because I was sitting in the crowd texting the owner.
Yeah, and I missed it. I wound up missing it because I think I was like the match before you did it. Or like the mat, or the
no, the main event. Well, were you the main that night?
No, I wrestled because in October. I want to say that's when I wrestled Jay for the title when I broke because I think
Possibly.
when you did that was my first night back.
Yeah.
And I wrestled O'Shea for the title.
Yeah.
And then it was was it that or was that one or that might have been the next show. One of the first two because the first show I came back was where we all got contract opportunities. And then the second show was I wound up wrestling. Actually, no, that was the first show because my contract opportunity was against the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, there was text messages back and forth with me and the owner all night long. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off.
I just remember it
was supposed to happen like intermission.
Yeah,
it was supposed to happen semi-main, and then finally it was I'm going out there to get in the ring after the main event. You know, I'm going to keep everybody around and we'll do it. And I mean, he was scared to death. And it was weird because I'm not saying I wasn't like a little nervous about it, but I was more like, I think I'll be fine. You know, like I know there's a couple of boys in the locker room that know, but I told him I was like, maybe you should smarten them up at intermission. What's it gonna hurt? Yeah. For some reason, he just never did. Like,
no, he pulled everybody in the locker room after it happened. Like at the end of the night, it was when everybody got pulled in and got smartened up, and then that was what it was.
And I know they had to go get Bruno.
And it was very. And then it was very. And then it was
he
very.
was chasing the goddamn car down the street.
Yeah, and then it was very different because some guys were like, it's whatever. Other guys were like, not cool. And then other guys were like, wait, what happened again? Like I said, it was very chaotic because nobody really knew. Like, I mean, just everybody was across the board with the feelings about it, which was kind of weird because usually, everybody knows it's to work, everybody knows it's to shoot. Like,
I had to apologize to Brubaker because I threw a fucking chair at his head.
Oh, that was the only reason he was pissed. Nick came to the back and he was like, "That motherfucker threw a chair at me," and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I say something? And then I was like, nope. Ignorance is bliss. I'm just gonna sit over here.
Dude, Brew is the dude I would not want to cross. I would not want to be on them. Him and Vic are like, dude, I would not want to be on their bad side.
Like, we're all guys that we're pretty confident we can handle ourselves.
Yeah.
Some people you just
shit.
You could rip my fucking dick
dude,
off.
Dude, he has a head tattoo.
With it. Could.
That guy's got a neck tattoo. Do you know how tough he is?
Like, I feel like he's just eventually going to like bam it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just going to come up the side.
He's down the shoulders now. He got the whole front of his neck done.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry. I have to correct some information that I put out earlier because I was fed bad information. That's why I brought it up. The first
brother, everything with me is bad information.
The first woman to dunk in a high school basketball game. I was fed bad information on that.
You were so worried somebody was going to like write in.
They're going to fact check it. Yeah. I don't want anybody fact checking my gimmicks.
It's a work.
Being like,
it's a work.
And being like, Brendan Conway, he says he likes the WNBA, but he doesn't even know who the first woman to dunk was. So
yeah, there are so many people that are going to listen to that and be like, that son of a bitch.
But I do like the WNBA, and I do think the Chicago Sky is a great team. I'm trying to get that sponsorship deal, dog. I'm trying to get a sponsor.
No, but to go back to the Blacklist, and then you and I had talked about...
Yeah, you WNBA bitch.
Sorry, guys.
So when they come out with WNBA Jam, then I'll be a fan. I'll be a fan.
She's on fire!
Until...
Things you'll never hear in WNBA Jam. She's taking it to the hole!
Boom shakalaka!
But,
it must be Shark Week, because she is killing them!
But, so going forward... So going forward with that, you and I always kept in contact and stuff. And obviously,
Mostly text messages and dick pics.
Yeah, basically, and Avengers questions. But basically, then
you're my Bucky. You're my Cap. I'm your Bucky.
I'm your Cap. You're my Bucky.
We'll explain that to Conway someday.
I know who Captain America and Bucky are.
No, there's more to it.
You don't get it.
Way more to it.
You think you get it?
He's my Cap.
It's like
I think you know, but you have no idea.
Wow,
Exactly.
okay,
The real world. McCoy and Hayes.
Okay,
season 9.
When it was the least
lost.
amount of reality to it.
But so then you pulled in Conway to do it. How did you? Because I've never actually asked you. How did Tristin approach you about it?
We were just talking about it backstage. I think it was at WrestleFest, to be honest.
We were. It did start a long time ago. Here's my honest take on it. I looked at a guy that could wrestle and had a pretty good look to him and had a pretty good mind, and somebody that I clicked with in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the way me and you do, right?
Yeah.
But I saw him doing nothing with him.
Yeah.
And I always kind of like the idea of let's put the guys together that they're not taking the opportunity to do anything with, and see if we can make something out of ourselves together. And that was my decision I want Conway first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when the idea of you coming with, I was like, well, hell yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
You and I are, again, we're stationed. You know,
Yeah.
the two little
station
butt crack aliens from Bill and Ted that come together. We're stationed. We build something. You know?
What was the plan to always be a 3-man? And you were just kind of searching for that next person that could fit in?
No, to be honest, there was no plan. It was keep the plan that I had was keep it small. Not a specific number, but keep it small. Have somebody eventually on the outside, but have it like 3 to 4 guys that were actually in-ring competitors, tops. And like I said, Conway was number 1 pick because they're doing nothing with him when they should have been.
that, by the way. Thank you.
Don't kiss my ass.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying.
That's really my job.
No. I saw you. I like your work. We've known each other. Like we haven't been friends for years.
Yeah.
But we've known each other.
We go back a long way.
17 years.
Yeah, we go way back.
Like LWF days. So like we've always kind of been acquaintances. But like I saw a guy that I hadn't seen in years. And I'm like, oh shit, he can fucking he's gotten good. He can work now. But then I see nothing being done with him, so that was they'll give me that guy if I ask, because they're not doing shit with him. You know?
Yeah. I remember you called me, like shortly after you guys got together, you called me and were like, so, this is what I'm thinking. And I just remember coming to the Blitz, talking to Scarpone and talking to all the guys behind the scenes and the guys who put stuff together. I just remember my message was very clear about coming in, which was I just want to do something that matters. Like I don't need to be pushed to the moon with the heavyweight title or any shit like that. I don't need this. I don't need that.
Unless you want to take it to Japan.
Exactly. Right? I don't need like anything that's like not deserved. But at the same time, I want to do something that matters because I want to do something that, you know, I look at wrestling as storytelling, and I want to be able to be the guy who tells a story that's so good that people remember that story. And I've always looked at that as my job as a wrestler. So you called me, and it was kind of like, I kind of felt like I was in the same boat as you, Conway, where it was like, I mean, it's great to be here, and you love having matches. But at the same time, you just kind of feel like you're floating, and you're just kind of like, I'm not really gaining traction or momentum to go forward. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not getting buried, so it's not like
right.
It's not good. It's not bad. You're just kind of there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I had the hot potato title. Which honestly, people, because I've had this conversation with people where, a dude came up to me and he's like, bro, you got the hot potato title?
I think I'm the only person that ever wanted to take that off you at the baseball park shows.
Well, I mean, we could have done that.
I asked to, but they were like, no.
Dude, so this guy, he comes up to me and he's like, bro, I can't believe you got the hot, you're okay with that? And I was like, you numbskull, I have the hot potato title. That means, 1, I'm booked, and 2, he's like, well, yeah, but they're totally burying you. You're totally buried. And I was like, no, numbskull, the hot potato title, it's
your
burial
opportunity to turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
It's a burial if you bury yourself. Yeah. But if you're going out there and really trying to like I don't know, like do cool shit with it, like you have a great opportunity. And I mean, for like so the stretch that I had the hot potato title with, it was actually like it was like pretty cool and fun. But then I like lost it. Oh no, I lost the hot potato title. And then
J Double, our legal counsel, said you can only mention the hot potato title for like another 30 seconds.
Okay.
Then we have to cut it off.
Yeah. But then I had it, and then I was kind of in purgatory.
Got the most fucking wicked awesome manager over there. I swear to God. Swear to
like-
God, Johnny.
It's like fucking Arn Anderson's fucking love child made with fucking the great fucking body of fucking Judi Dench.
I want to play some fucking chicken cock with him and get some helmet-to-helmet contact going. Bring it over here. Come on.
Left hooks
You're
and
the fucking,
uppercuts.
look at you with this shirt. Looking like the goddamn ring rat trap.
What's going on, fellas?
There he is.
There's fucking the missing link, Johnny Valentine, behind him. Valentino, sorry. He was probably getting fucking baked with the dad bods.
Were you getting baked?
And we don't cut shit. That stays in the podcast. I'm sorry.
He said he wishes, but unfortunately that did not happen. No, but I remember getting back to the Blacklist. I remember like you calling me and being like, "So here's an idea," and like I think we talked for like 10 minutes, and it became one of those conversations where like you would start talking, I'd finish your sentence, I'd start talking, you'd finish my sentence, and then we'd go back and forth. And I think about after 5 minutes of talking with you, I was like, "Oh my God, I have to do this. Like this is like
we do. We
super
kind of have
easy."
that thing where one of us says something and the other one tends to advance it in a way that the other one didn't think.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works both ways. Like even today, like I had an idea in my head and you just fucking turned it up to 11.
Yeah.
Which is it's like a back and forth. It's weird. There's not too many people that like you can do that with. So it's kind of nice. You know, it makes working with anybody you work with a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, the fun part about all this to me is like I still feel like we haven't even like scratched the surface.
No.
Yeah,
No.
true.
Like we're so in the infancy stage of this thing.
We can't even see the peak of this yet.
No, and it excites me because there's like so many ways that you can go with it, and it's been a long time in my opinion since the company's brought in like a legitimate like. No, obviously you're the Freebird, but a legitimate like Freebird style team of 3 guys that stick together for a long time, and that's my goal. Is I want to do this for a very long time, simply because so many times, and especially in wrestling, and this is something we see all the time, is that tag teams get put together, or stables get put together, or 3-man teams get put together, and it's 6 months and they're gone, 8 months and they're gone, a year max and they're gone,
or sometimes at their hottest point,
exactly,
they're done.
And like looking back on it, and this isn't just even in the independents, but any like major company, I can't think of the last time that a company had a team of 3 guys or more, or even a tag. Well, I'd say tag teams are good now, but especially if you go with like New York and the bigger stuff.
Is going to negate the New Day.
Exactly. No, but like besides New Day, name a 3-man team in the last 15 years that's lasted longer than 2 years. Because I can't think of one. Evolution didn't last longer than 2 years. DX didn't last.
I was gonna say 3 count, but that's
3 count.
Well, DX did last, but technically
what about
that's
the Young Dragons?
That's like an exception to the rule.
Didn't the Wyatt? If we're talking,
the Wyatts didn't last. They were there and then they broke up with Rowan.
Within
and
NXT though. If we're counting their
yeah,
NXT
but the original Wyatts in NXT didn't have Harper. Harper was not an original. Was not Harper or Rowan.
Added on later.
Yeah, like they had
Harper and Rowan were tag champions.
But they had a different guy with Bray to begin the whole Wyatt family.
Really?
When they went to NXT,
too, in the sense that
you can catch it on the network.
Family, and you guys are kind of just a cohesive group, right?
Yeah,
so.
that's the best part about it is we're legitimately just 3 guys. We enjoy hanging out with each other. We enjoy the conversation. We like working with each other, and we play off each other, and that makes it easier. It makes it fun. Yeah, it doesn't seem like work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing that's kind of hard to find, just because I think one of the reasons people shy away from 3-man groups or stables nowadays is because the longevity is very hard to accomplish, and sooner or later, I mean, like all 3 of us have very chill egos. Yeah, and when you look at like a lot of groups, sooner or later, it's one of those things where like somebody.
Of course, we're chill. Bobby went missing for like 3 days, and we didn't even freak out.
Exactly right. It's just like so many times that one guy is like, I'm the leader. Somebody's like, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader. Or like somebody assumes the number 1, number 2, number 3 role or some shit like that. And I feel like with all of us, you could pull, like, I feel like this is a group that if you pulled us all apart, we could each go do our own thing and win a title. And everyone would believe it. And then we put us back, and then if we ever came back together again, it would still be believable, because it's one of those kind of things where, like, skill set wise, we're very much on the same plane. Attitude wise, we're very much on the same plane. Yeah. And wrestling knowledge wise,
same sense of humor.
Yes,
well, right?
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Fucking guy in a fucking White Sox cap sitting over there, fucking acting like he's a fuck. I know you're a fucking cop because we're not on the fucking south side.
You got the fucking mic on you there, Ian?
That's right.
There's a fucking. I found his fucking mic. It's right in front of him.
It's a great. Looks like a great big fucking sphere, like we're going onto a fucking another planet.
Why the fuck you looking at me that like Jason Mewes, huh?
You are fucking. You are fucking
because I'm more baked than the dad bods.
Oh, he is more baked than the dad bods. Look at him fucking punk you out. Oh my god. Too funny. What are you playing?
Make a dad bod joke again. Hold on.
As we wait for technical difficulties, sound effects are not appreciated.
Oh, what the man? You know, maybe I'm the one who's fucking high right now.
This is why you're WBA fans.
I'm the one who's like, okay.
It would have been so much better 45 seconds ago.
No, it's even better now. It's even better late.
It's not.
Nobody agrees with that.
There's never a bad time for air
like
air
your
horns.
original push. It's dead.
Man, I'm waiting. Like, hold on. No, make that joke again.
Here's my thing. Going back to this and with the Blacklist, my biggest thing is you, Tristin, gave up a lot to just come here and do this, because you were such a staple down in Indiana for Fire Pro, and I know that, and obviously there, like in all indie wrestling, there's always bad blood between people, or there's always, well, if you go there, don't stay here kind of a thing, and it happens all the time. But I know that you, because I mean, man, personally, and this is not just from me being there, but it's also from what I was told and the guys that I've always worked there, is like, you're like one of the pillars of that company that helped build that company up to something much bigger than what it was when it started. And then, you know, it's kind of one of those things where I kind of, and I don't have a better example, so forgive me when I say this, but it's kind of like LeBron when he left the fucking Cavs to go to Miami. I kind of feel like you're the guy who was like, you had won every title there. You had been the longest reigning champion for the.
At one point, I was.
At one point, you were one of the longest reigning champions, or you are one of the longest reigning champions of all time there, and that was I mean, man, you can't tell me that you didn't basically, you know.
I was comfortable.
Yeah, you were very comfortable.
It was a very comfortable spot to be in. Like, I could pretty much.
So to give that up for a new venture in, I mean, technically a bigger company, and to give all that up to go to something where there are no guarantees, where this could easily have failed, it easily could like, you know, and then you're kind of out on your ass.
And it's a place I've been and both been let go from and quit before.
Exactly.
That's not even a joke.
So I guess on my end, what was like the major factor that made you decide it was worth taking the leap?
Again, like I said, I was there. I was with Fire Pro for over 10 years. I was comfortable, you know. It was a place that I could easily stay and pretty much had the pull to do whatever I wanted there. But at the same time, there was with the people who run it now, because today is May 27th. It's the 9th anniversary of the death of the gentleman who started Fire Pro. We're recording this, and he's obviously, like I said, he's no longer with us, but over the years, the reins of the company have been handed down back and forth several times. I even spent a year in the early like 2010, 2011, you know, for about 2 years running the company before giving it over to somebody else. Because I'm an idea guy, and I'm like, I'm not a booker. You know what I mean? Like, you could put a show that's booked in front of me, and I could tell you tweaks and what I would change and how I would do so, but I'm not a booker. I don't like it. I've tried it, you know. But there, it became a thing where there was a lot of distrust, unfortunately, with the guy who's running it. I don't even want to give him the benefit of saying his name. You know what I mean? But it was an offer from a friend of, if you're going to leave there, I'm not telling you to leave, but if you do, you have a home here. I'll give you another shot. Because I had repaired my relationship with the owner of this company over about 3 years. And there were several times where it was, do you want to come in? Do you want to come in? And no, I was just doing Six Flags and baseball park shows and Riot Fest and little stuff like that. And I kept telling, no, I'm good, you know. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. That's not why I repaired our friendship, you know. But when the opportunity came, it was, okay, I'm not happy there anymore. I have a place I can go. I can go somewhere and do something new instead of being comfortable working and having good matches with the guys that I've worked a million times. But that's why we're having good matches, because we've worked a million times, you know. So here I come, I have new guys, I have new challenges. Right now I'm working with people that I know, but in the very near future that changes, and we all know that. So
Yeah. On your end, Conway, anything about this that did you have any reservations, or was it something where you were like
I had no reservations at all.
I love that Ben McCoy is totally taking over. He's the host of the show.
Hey man,
as soon as he like mentioned it to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm down.
I'm fucking taking over your show there. It's all mine.
Yeah,
now,
I had like no reservations. I had no criticisms or anything. He's just like, hey, we're gonna do this Blacklist thing, and I was like, I already have shirts made. Like, joke's on you.
McCoy was, I'm sorry. Conway was basically like, I'm not doing anything else. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was just like, let's do it.
So I've got this thing. I'm in.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. I don't like. You barely had to say like anything at all. I was just like, yeah, it sounds good. I am very excited and very into.
And it
the
was
idea.
weird for you because you had to kind of fucking sit on the sidelines and
yeah.
I hope I've never given you any reason not to, but you and like I said, our friendship has been growing over the last couple months, but you had to really fucking trust me and sit out for a little while.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a weird thing for you.
It really wasn't a big deal. I mean, yeah,
I know, but if you listen to other people's opinions and reputation,
yeah.
I might not have trusted me to say, "Hey, man, I swear to you, this is gonna work out."
Yeah,
you know,
it could have just as easily I do the thing. I lose the match. I don't, I'm like, I'm out of Blitz, whatever. And then like it doesn't work out, and I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like that the thought had like popped into my mind, but like only in like the briefest, like most fleeting sense, where I was like,
You're about to call McCoy and be like, I'll give you $50 to call him in the Boston accent. You fucking me? You fucking me, boy? Swear to God.
No, when because my biggest thing was like you and I had never met before this. Like I think we had been on a couple of shows and like said hi in passing.
Yeah.
But nothing
very briefly, very in passing, and few and far between.
So we do all that, and then you put my shoulder back into the socket today.
Yeah, we did that today, man. We got very
That's
close
life.
today.
Don't tell Crystal.
Yeah, don't tell my wife. It's okay. She doesn't.
Happen.
She doesn't listen to podcasts.
Sending her this link immediately. No.
Download it.
But no, I just remember thinking like Brendan Conway, and no offense, but like I was like, I know this guy, but how do I know this guy? And then like when we started working and everything kind of got put together and everything.
And I've been going up to Milwaukee, like whenever I can. Like I love going up to Milwaukee. So and I know there's a what is it, GLCW?
Yeah.
Like and when I first got back to the continental United States, I went with Jake O'Neill to some GLCW shows.
Yeah. Those are always fun. I like working for Dave. Dave's a good dude. And
Sasquatch with the big toe missing. He is. Like I saw the cast of his feet recently. There's a picture on
the
Facebook.
big toe is missing.
And
it's
just
awesome.
it looks like it looks like the Finding Bigfoot guys were like, well, we've got this cast here, but the giant Permithecus is missing its big toe. We don't know how it walks.
But so I always thought that was like not knowing you. I always thought that was funny. And until last year, you and I didn't know each other either, Tristan.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we'd ever even
we knew
met.
of each other.
And
we had crossed paths very briefly.
Yeah.
I believe, but it was the Six Flags shit where it was like, oh shit, finally we get to hang out and do something, you know.
And it's kind of cool. Like, I think one of the funny things about wrestling is like there's certain people that you'll pass by and say hi to.
Yeah.
You know, 100 times. 200 times.
It's a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah.
And not very many friends.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny because this to me has like meshed together way fast. Like this so far. Like I'll be completely honest. I had like an expectation of how good this could be. And we've already exceeded that, in my opinion. And it's funny because I
haven't even peaked.
Yeah, and it's cool because I think like us meshing together took way less time than I thought it was. Because I thought, okay, we'll do this and we'll like feel each other for like 3-4 months, and then like by 6 months we should be gelling good, and it'll be good, and then in like a year we'll really be firing on all cylinders. And I already feel like we've skipped like 6 months ahead of that. So.
I think
pretty good right now.
I think something that really helped that was the accidental discovery.
Oh my God! Yes.
The personal locker room.
Their own locker room.
Like, which wasn't even any of our ideas.
It wasn't.
It wasn't any of our ideas. Like, we were told, hey, you guys aren't coming into our locker room tonight. You're going to be in this little fucking broom closet with the production team. You know, learning how to run the TriCasters kind of by default.
Yeah,
the cameraman, you know.
I'm glad they're not in here. This
and then
time.
Last
time I was in here, they were like, "What the fuck are you?"
And then they moved out,
and we're still back here.
It was like
we're still back here.
4 months later.
And they're like, "Well, you're already there, so you guys will leave you,
dude."
And
they came to us after the first show. They're like, "You realize that was over, right? You got to stay back there." I was like, "God."
I talked to my kids, and I got 4 awesome kids, and my son, he's 14.
He actually has 5 kids, but only 4 of them are awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
The other one's a mongoloid.
Yeah, the one's fucking awful. But
where we at on that one, WNBA?
Checking scores.
Come on, Shamika Holsclaw. But my son, I came home and I was like, I had my own personal locker room tonight. My son, he's a smart ass. He's much like your kid, Tristin.
2.0 model is dangerous.
He's a smart ass, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you got your own locker room?" I was like, yeah, dude. It was kind of cool. It was really funny. It was just me, Tristin, and Brendan hanging out in this locker room, and it's kind of special feeling, like kind of neat. It was very different. And I said, I've been doing this since 05. I've never had anything like this. And he looks at me and goes, so you're special now, is what you're telling me. And all of a sudden I realized he was fucking working me and like making fun of me the whole time. And at this point I went on for like 8 minutes about how cool it is to have your own locker room. And he's just like, yeah, and then finally he just ended it with like, so you think you're special now, huh? And I was like, well, I think it's kind of cool that I have one. He goes, I bet you do. He goes,
please tell me he rocked the Boston accent.
No, not at all.
Oh, you think
he can't do he can't do any accents. I love him, but he can't. He can't.
It's his first time cussing too.
My son is amazing at absolutely everything, including he fixed my riding lawnmower this last week. My lawnmower, you
gave birth to Al Borland as opposed
dude,
to
I'm
Tim
telling
Taylor.
you, man. My some fucking sensor went out on my dealer, got unplugged, and he went on YouTube, figured it out in 10 minutes, plugged it in, and my lawnmower works just perfectly fine. But there's only 2 things that he can't do, in my opinion, and one is he can't sing. He sounds like Stone Cold Steve Austin whenever he tries to sing. He's tone deaf as a son of a bitch, which is hilarious considering my wife, and my wife literally sings all the time. I've given her shit where I'm like, how is this your kid? He can't carry a tune.
By the way, I still want to point out us out there tonight for God Bless America while the communist Brendan
the
Conway.
communist Brendan Conway.
Not real talk. The communist Brendan Conway checking his WNBA score updates.
I was trying to avoid bringing attention to myself.
You were all
wanted to keep the focus on America. And
you were all WNBA. Meanwhile, me and fucking Tristin are out there like fucking Jordan and fucking Scottie Pippen with our hands behind our backs doing the fucking side swaddle like we're ready for fucking game time.
I was trying to remain
inconspicuous.
wear the glasses.
I'm more of a Horace Grant.
I actually had the Horace Grant glasses when I was in the 4th grade. Nice. I did. I had the goggles, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And now I look back at those pictures, I'm like, oh, you're so fucking white and stupid. Why did you do that? Well, not one of my best fashion faux pas.
Well, gentlemen, the main event is wrapping up.
It is.
We're gonna end this soon and get out of here. But I wanted to thank you guys for being here. You're our first real interview on It's a Work.
Jason J for legal counsel of the Blacklist is brought to you by Jason J Law Offices.
We get fucking sued. You're gonna get us out of it, there, Jay.
Of course.
If you're in trouble, call everyone else, and if
Listen.
that doesn't work, call me.
I want you to know this, son of a bitch, Jason J. You get in some trouble, he's going to get you off. All of you guys out there, line up. Jason J will get every last one of you guys off in a row. Yep. It doesn't matter how long it takes. He will spend all night getting each and every one of you guys off.
And he has a cleaner named the gay bar superstar, Bobby Valentino, that will make sure that anybody that is not satisfied gets a full refund.
But he may or may not be AWOL.
With his mouth.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a work.
Why are you saying shit like that?
I just said that your mouth was AWOL.
That's alright.
Which I don't think is okay on any...
Yeah, it is, actually.
Internet.
Littering and...